Now, I want you women to walk out in that world I've just described, wearing very little, full makeup, provocative clothing, and then tell me if you feel safe. But just remember that everything that kept the physically powerful male that knows it can overpower a woman, remember, it knows it can overpower a woman, in check is no more. It is just frail you out in the street in a sea of stronger men wearing provocative clothing. These men are not the men you know and love today. Beta males, Manhattan hipsters, Chelsea liberals, educated, civilized, law-abiding citizens of a Tier 1 civilization. Times have changed. The political system has been overhauled, crime is up, and criminals operate with impunity. Children aren't educated like they used to be, and religion has been discredited by the neo-atheist coalition. All there is now is biology on the street. Man sees girl, man likes girl, man gets girl. Now try telling that man, whose eyes have locked on you with bad intentions, that your clothes are not there to provoke and entice him. Tell him that you're simply expressing yourself in your fashion and it has nothing at all to do with him. That you should be respected, valued as a person and not an object, because you are his equal and you have rights just as he does. Now see if you can get him to reason and hold back. I somehow fear this encounter would end somewhat badly for the woman. As you know, Islam came for all people. Now this is the point. This is the point. It came for all people, whatever the country, whatever the color, race, whatever the continent, north, east, south, west, whatever the sect or tribe, whether it be the Amazonian tribes in the 10th century, the Arctic Eskimos in the 18th century, the Polynesian cannibals, or indeed the modern Harvard and Princeton educated Caucasian working in the 25th century. And of course, for all times, it came for your 21st century Western democracy. It came for your 11th century Seljuk Empire, the 18th century European aristocratic kingdoms, the 10th century Tang dynasty, the 17th century Russian peasantry, or indeed the 30th century Coca-Cola, Walmart and Trump 11/45 civilizations. No matter what the circumstances on earth, whether there be law and order, war or anarchy, peace, whether we have a liberal democracy or an autocratic kingdom, a tyranny ruling over us, the law of the jungle, might is right, military rule, civilian rule, democracy or dictatorship, all of it. Islam came for all these differing circumstances, whatever the civilization, however simple, even if people have returned to living in mud houses, in caves or up trees, or indeed however complex that we now inhabit Mars, it applies to all people for all time. He knows, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows man's nature better than man himself. He is our creator after all. He knows that man can do good, yes, but is equally a forgetful creature with the potential for base spine-tingling behavior. He knows that man is capable of angelic, altruistic behavior, feats of amazing kindness, but is also a desirous, jealous, covetous creature who sooner or later craves power, wealth, and women. Whatever peace, law and order it musters in a period of time, whatever civilization it thinks it has built will not last. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows this. As I said, He knows man's nature better than man knows it himself. A century of peace will be followed by a millennium of bloodshed. Man will not be able to take care of himself, let alone the women. Sooner or later, one tyrant, one civilization will overcome another, and after a baptism of rape, genocide and slavery, it will impose its own subjective man-made rules, values, culture and laws over the other. And the cycle will continue, with man believing he is making progress, but in fact he is simply going around in circles and repeating history. 1 step forward, 10 steps back, 1 step forward, 4 steps back. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took it upon himself to send forth a divine law, a static, unchanging divine law, an objective, eternal law that applies to all people in all circumstances and in all times, a law that applies fairly to all without discrimination, no matter what nation, no matter what color, no matter how rich or poor you are. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells women to cover up and dress modestly, that will help a woman stay safe in a good ordered times, in good times and bad chaotic times. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks women to cover up and dress modestly, that will keep her safe in the year 1066 Common Era Persia and the year 2045 secular liberal Amsterdam. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks women to cover up and be modest, that will keep her safe in a bustling Cairo city full of men, or a mixed liberal suburb in Stockholm or a crime-ridden slum in Bombay. Why? Because it deals with the truth about human nature. It confronts it head-on without trying to be politically correct. And what is that truth, brothers and sisters in Islam, of the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How lucky we are. The truth I will break down in 3 points: that man and women, being what we are, our natures, we are not always going to be good and moral. We can do good, we can do bad. We are capable of both. We can be like the animals, or we can be like the angels. That's point 1. Point 2, there will always be upheaval in society and civilization. Nothing will stay static. The world is just like that. One civilization falls, another one rises. One people dominate, another one falls and are enslaved. Point 3, men and women are ultimately biological entities with natural inclinations and urges. Nobody can doubt that. We are creatures made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with flaws and weaknesses and strengths too. So the reason, in conclusion, inshallah, and I hope you've stayed with me, so the reason men do not have to wear the hijab is because of the relative strength of a man to a woman, and with time civilizations will rise and fall, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needed a law, one law, in the final revelation until the end of the world. He needed one law that covered everything, all people, all continents, all countries, for all time. He needed one law in one swipe. And that is why he told women to cover their hair. Today, in the past, tomorrow, in the future, in 100 years, in 1,000 years, if the world will last that long. Because man is changing all the time. He is a subjective creature. He is a forgetful, hasty creature. We're not angels. Peace will not last forever. Chaos will reign. And then who will protect the women if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't? It's ultimately common sense, really. Anyway, I know not everybody will agree with me. I would suggest maybe 40% will agree with me, 60% won't, or vice versa. Anyway, but that's my sort of 2 cents on the issue and what I believe is the wisdom behind it. One of the reasons behind it. Inshallah, you've stuck with me for all the parts, and I know I said there's going to be only 2 parts. However, I did have to break it down into many more parts than that. I think in the end I ended up with 4 parts. Anyway, if you go to the YouTube channel, you will be able to see all the parts one after another in sequence, and inshallah you will follow it from start to finish, part 1 to the end, in order to grasp the point I'm trying to make. It is 1 point only. I know this topic is huge, and there are various reasons for the hijab, various wisdoms behind it, but I only focused on one because it's one of the reasons, this reason is very much confused and jumbled up in society these days, especially in the West. Anyway, I hope you will all stay well, inshallah, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And of course, inshallah, I pray that you will subscribe so I can make more videos like this, and inshallah bring you more knowledge and information if Allah wills it. And you will like it, you will comment, and you will share it with your friends and family so that we can take this forward and grow the channel, inshallah. I will see you soon. May Allah take care of you, look after you, reward you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.